Well, I've only just come out of it, so I haven't gathered my thoughts. But my impression was that it was very powerful, meant, and that's the most important thing about drama, it has to be meant. I thought it was wonderfully professionally put together. The quality of the acting, design, lighting, costumes, all of it was really well gathered. I mean, I have to say, really surprised by an amateur show being this collected, this together. I thought it was extraordinary, really, really good. And you lost your heart to it whilst it was on, which means the acting was really coming across. So and it was wonderful to have so many children in the show. And there was no difference in quality between the grown-up children and the little children. Music was lovely, lyrics were good, great. And I'm going to sit on a train and think, well, that was pretty wonderful. In tone and spirit, it was very true to the book. There's no question about that at all. I mean, all plays, when they're adapted from novels, have to cut a little bit of this out and add a little bit out. That's par for the course. But the spirit of that story, which to me is what's important, it's a story finally about reconciliation and about coming to terms with grief and difficulty and loss and parting and all those things, and camaraderie. I thought that was all beautifully put together. I haven't had a chance to meet you all, but I've had a chance to watch you all, except for the people behind stage, and I'd like to talk about them first of all, really, because in any show like this, they tend to get sort of forgotten because you don't see them. But what was remarkable this evening, in a show which is amateur, was how wonderfully professional everything worked in terms of the technology of the whole thing. I thought it was really beautifully pulled together. So whoever did all that gizmo stuff. Anyway, I'd like to could you give them a huge hand, first of all. I know there's been a lot of work, because I was there about 2 years ago when this project was first being mooted and suggested, and I know work had gone on a lot before that in terms of the composing and the lyrics, and I kind of know how much that takes out of people when you start on a project like this. It's all about faith and determination to make it work. I'm not here just because I have a blood relation who's partly responsible for this whole thing. That's part of it, of course it is. We all kind of like to support our families, and I felt she was supporting me in choosing my book anyway. So it was a mutually supportive. So I'd like obviously to thank those original creators, the people who made the play, made the music, made the whole thing work on paper, so that you people had something really solid and sparky to work from. Because what I do know with any making of a play is that if that bit isn't right, that is the script, and the making of the play on paper, then the rest doesn't work. And it's always found out afterwards, usually at the end of a 10-day run when no one else wants to come. So I thought it was extraordinary. I would say this, the acting and the music, whether child or grown-up child, I thought was quite extraordinary today, mostly because of the conviction with which you acted. Clearly, you are amateur. What that doesn't do is stop you giving what you feel about what it is that you're doing to the people out there. In fact, it may help, because it seems to me it comes with a passion and with a naturalness that sometimes professionalism can cover over. I thought it was extraordinary, really, really good. I was watching something that I think is at the beginning of and it may be an extraordinary journey. I mean, the beginning I know was 2 or so years ago, but this afternoon, the whole thing seemed to come together. And it was down to you people who did the acting and put it on and made it work for us all out there. It's a problem. I have to say that for an originator of a story, when it's adapted, the originator, whoever it is in a lose-lose situation. Shall I explain myself? The reason it's a lose-lose situation is this. If it's bad, it's awful. You just want to walk out when you know it's bad because you don't want to witness this thing which you know you started because it was your little story and someone's making a real mess of it and you wish you'd never said yes and you simply want to leave. and I have left before, on many, many occasions. It is equally bad if it's good. Let me explain the psychology behind it. If it's really good, seriously good, then people forget the book. Because the play is better. I have experienced this with another book of mine called War Horse, which was a book about 30 years before it was ever a play, but no one had ever heard of it until they made a play of it. And that is just as bad, because they forget the original story altogether because the play is so good. Shakespeare said, in different circumstances, he said the play's the thing. Did you know that? Do you know what play it came from? Well, find out before you go to bed tonight. Anyway, it's a totally different, but he's right. The play's the thing. When it's done like you did it today, the play's the thing. I just think you've done wonders today, real wonders. You brought that story to life for me. You've shone new lights on the story, and I can guarantee that child ought to be kept quiet. It's appalling. In the 1940s, a child would never have behaved like that. What was really lovely is I know there were one or two people here who were from the professional stage and watched it and were really impressed. They know what they're thinking, I know what I'm thinking. So my last thing to you is bravo and thank you.